Welcome back, everyone, to GGN. This is part 6, the final part for today, for Friday, August 9th, 2013. I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.net. You can find all my videos there, also on YouTube, DDarko 2012 and DDarko 2013. I'm ready to continue here into social engineering, and I wish I could have included this article here about the Japanese men refusing to leave their rooms in with the end of the last video, which is there's no way out of this hell, no way out of this matrix. You just get drugged back in there, and you cannot be in tune and balance with nature. This order, this system is not designed for people, humans, to be balanced with nature. Why you saw a lot of the indigenous tribes basically slaughtered off, and the ones that weren't were subjugated, indoctrinated. Why are so many Japanese men refusing to leave their rooms? As many as 1 million young people in Japan are thought to remain holed up in their homes, sometimes for decades at a time. They say, why? The problem started when he gave up school. His name's Hyde. I started to blame myself, and my parents also blamed me for not going to school. The pressure started to build up. Then gradually I became afraid to go out and fearful of meeting people, and then I couldn't get out of my house. Gradually, he relinquished all communication with friends and eventually his parents. To avoid seeing them, he slept through the day and sat up all night watching TV. I had all kinds of negative emotions inside me: the desire to go outside, anger towards society and my parents, sadness about having this condition, fear about what would happen in the future, and jealousy towards the people who were leading normal lives. He had become withdrawn, or I'm going to give this pronunciation a shot. Hikikomori. In Japan, the term is also used to describe the young people who withdraw. Is a word that everyone knows. So I think personally, this is just a result of a reaction to this engineered society. But this Japanese individual has accepted it wholly. George Takei from Star Trek, he was Sulu. Forget Russia homophobes, yank Olympics. Petitions to move games back to 2010 host Vancouver. He's fed up with Russia's anti-gay policies, but a boycott of Russian vodka or even the 2014 Sochi Olympics isn't the way to make the change. Rather, he wants to strip Russia of its games and send them to Canada. In a blog post Tuesday, the longtime gay rights activist offers up a petition to move the Winter Games back to 2010 host Vancouver, while calling on the IOC to do the right thing, protect its athletes and the fans, and move it out of Russia. The petition has more than 83,000 signatures, but Takei's wish is easier said than done. So, one person said, counselor from the Global Mail, I can understand the intention, but practically I don't see how it could happen. Even so, Russia is no place for a games that promotes mutual understanding with a spirit of friendship, solidarity, and fair play, he writes. Discrimination in any form is a blight upon the Winter Games, and it must not be tolerated. Again, these are the most intolerant people ever that don't tolerate other people's cultures. Just respect it, you know? Iowa investigating anti-LGBT group over secret donors. So, an anti-LGBT group. Well, what is that? That means that, they're anti-government, right? Anti-gay. They want to kill gays. They want to kill the government. Take it out. Actually, it's a national organization for marriage. That's all. Is currently under an investigation by Iowa state officials for reporting ethics violations in its campaign to unseat 3 state Supreme Court judges who voted to make same-sex marriage legal in the state. According to Des Moines Channel 13 News, the Southern Poverty Law Center certified hate group failed to disclose its donors in compliance with state campaign and finance laws. Funny, because the SPLC is a certified hate group, I think. So it says here that no one from NAM appeared at the Thursday hearing, but its president, Brian Brown, told Channel 13 this inquiry is a witch hunt spawned by a delusional homosexual activist who fancies himself becoming the president of the United States and who is a serial filer of frivolous allegations against us whenever we stand up for traditional marriage. Figured I'd throw this one in there too because it's similar. Hundreds expected to protest anti-free speech homophobia law in Rome and Paris. This is from August 5th, but 500 people are expected to hold a demonstration. This has already taken place out the Italian parliament to protest a bill that would criminalize homophobia and transphobia, something constitutional experts believe would shut down citizens' right to free speech, especially for Christians. Lastly, under the law, anyone who asserted the uniqueness of the family as a natural union between a man and woman could be accused of homophobia, ending up in prison and be forced through re-education style totalitarian regime. So, memo says gay troops get 10 days of leave to marry as part of a proposed Pentagon plan to extend benefits to same-sex couples. So now that the Supreme Court has overturned Defense of Marriage Act, the Pentagon is reviewing a plan that would extend full marriage benefits to same-sex couples by the end of this month. Now troops will actually need to be legally married to get benefits, but the military will give them 10 days of leave so they can travel to a state where gay marriage is legal and tie the knot. Transgender anchor sues BET for $2.5 million because he couldn't host a segment in drag. A cross-dressing internet gossip columnist and television personality Brandon Sessoms, goes by the stage name B. Scott, has filed a $2.5 million gender discrimination lawsuit against Black Entertainment Television after the network demanded he wear masculine attire at a recent awards show. He's an open homosexual man who calls himself transgender because he believes that his spirit is neither male nor female. June 30th, Sessoms felt led by that spirit to wear a flowing sheer caftan, loose-fitting women's pants, and high-heeled pumps to host a fashion-themed red carpet pre-show at the BET Awards in L.A. He's wearing long, sleek hair and loose, full of makeup. So it says eventually a BT employee pulled him by the side and told him his attire wasn't acceptable. He had to pull his hair back and ponytail and take off most of his makeup. So afterwards, he wrote on his website to his fans, who he calls Love Muffins, that he was surprised and hurt by BET's request. Citing time lost, humiliation, emotional distress, he's demanding monetary compensation and public apology from the network. Well, BET, I'm not sure if they're saying it for any kind of morality. I don't think they are. I think they're just doing it for business. It's bad for business. Why? Because most of the African American or black community does not accept homosexuality. Transgender ABC newsman switches back to straight male. This is what we covered before just recently. On Monday, ABC News editor Don Ennis announced that he was no longer a woman trapped in a man's body. Now he was a man trapped in a woman's body that used to be a man's body. According to him, he underwent 2 days of amnesia and woke up in an odd situation. I accused my wife of playing some kind of cruel joke, dressing me up in a wig and bra and making fake IDs with my name. Dawn on it. Seriously, it became obvious that this was not the case once I took off the bra and discovered 2 reasons I was wearing one. He had undergone hormone therapy resulting in him growing breasts. That's pretty scary. So this guy is actually almost losing his mind, right? This is some hardcore psychological programming that's inducing behavior modification. I tried looking for the article of the millionaire. He may have been a billionaire, but basically he said that he went through this. I think it was a man who went to a woman, back to a man, and he said that it was a very bad experience and he did not recommend it to anybody. Speaking of transgenders and the kind of the androgynous hidden agenda here, turning women into males and males into females, Beyonce debuts a super short, super blonde new do. So if you can't believe it, Queen Bee, Queen Bee has debuted a super short pixie cut. So that fans were kind of divided. It says we must say, because they're of course they're engineering consent. This OMG, that we're crazy in love with how it accentuates her incredible cheekbones and beautiful eyes more than ever. To be honest with you, I think she looks prettier with long hair. I think there's something about her in that picture. She just doesn't look attractive at all. But Big Sean's music video Fire stars smoking hot Miley Cyrus. Why am I covering this crap? Because it falls under the line of the social programming world agenda. We call it Illuminati, New World Order, occult. But she was the one that was pushing, started with this haircut. She didn't start it, but she just keeps it going, perpetuates it with the androgynous look of her hair. It says, if we didn't know any better, we'd think the video was a sizzle reel for the former Disney star, right? In the provocative music video, Cyrus is seen scantily clad moving in. So, again, with Britney Spears, talking about Disney stars, shaving of the head, that's a rejection of the mind control. This right here could actually be a rejection of the mind control. Some people even say the different eyes are having to do with either right brain or left brain programming or exhaustion. So, funny though, Big Sean, whoever the heck that is, says a special video for a special song. I got Miley Cyrus for this video because she's somebody who's had a personal evolution as a lot of us. So there are many, it says here, I tell in the song, there are many other ways, or many other ways people can make it through the fire. So through the flames of Lucifer, go through. So great metaphor for women being strong, right? Break those bondages of enslavement and domination. You're victims. And then it makes a good segue to this article that I found. Chick-fil-A at the center of public breastfeeding controversy. So they're holding a nurse-in Wednesday at Chick-fil-A in Tennessee. So where an employee had asked a mother nursing her 5-month-year-old daughter to stop. So just earlier that week, so they're doing a little protest. So it says here that a nurse, a former Chick-fil-A employee, says that this is a family restaurant. We just want to normalize breastfeeding. We just want society to change its views. So it's supposedly like a family restaurant. So it says here the restaurant also plans now to work with East Tennessee Breastfeeding Coalition for some sensitivity training. So, but that same person that said to stop doing that is probably addicted to porn or watches violent, bloody, gore, blood spilling everywhere type stuff, or video games. So it just goes to show you the changes of sensitivity. The point of this article was what? Why does the mainstream media cover this? I think the only reason they cover the breastfeeding thing is it's about women or female empowerment, about feminism. So, but you won't see much women empowerment and support here for this woman. Croatian midwife sacked for refusing to participate in abortion, sues hospital. She's fighting back after she was fired in June for refusing to participate in the deliberate killing of an unborn child through the abortion at General Hospital in Croatia. So it doesn't really matter whether it's contraceptives or whether it's breastfeeding or whether it's abortions. You don't have to say, well, I'm a Catholic, Just say I'm not for that. That's how you get other people, usually the left and that will say, oh, well, he's just a religious bigot. Go back to the caves. Mystery priest vanishes after anointing crash victim. 19-year-old girl was basically hit by a drunk driver. That's when the first responders say a man who looked like a Catholic priest seemed to appear out of nowhere despite a 2-perimeter mile blocking the scene. Began to pray and use an anointing oil. There was a calmness that to me seemed to come over me the entire scene, says a London fireman. He said also that the equipment kept failing until the mystery man showed up. The words were to remain calm, that our tools would work now. He said instantaneously at that moment our neighboring department arrived with fresh extraction tools. The man vanished before crews could thank him. So, not that they want to thank him, it's like everything else. They want to put him into the corporate machine. You got to funnel through him through all the daytime news crap, right? So that this system, this order's authority, can engineer the viewer's consent. They can tell them how to analyze this situation. Why did this being or entity take off? The same reason that those people in the forest in the last video tried to run back in Vietnam. They know what they're facing. A lot of people, they interfere with this. They interfere with the authorities, especially like firemen and cops who have a victim mentality. They'll arrest you. 3 die in France plane crash. 3 people died on a tourist plane that were flying crash in bad weather in France. So more crash. Also in Ethiopia, 4 killed in Ethiopian military plane crash in Mogadishu. Then this, 2 bodies found after small plane crashes into 2 Connecticut homes. So it was a prop plane, multi-engine, propeller-driven plane struck small homes in the working-class neighborhood while trying to land in rainy weather. At first they said that 3 went missing, but they presume that there's going to be a very bad outcome. But what I find interesting is how come nobody ever talks about hanging parachutes to planes so that they don't just fall out of the sky? I don't understand this. In World War II, they were dumping tanks and stuff outside the planes. That's what they're doing here, right? How come they don't do that? I've asked just common people around me that a couple of times, and they say, oh, I'm sure they thought about that. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure that they thought about that? Because if they can drop tanks like that, I'm sure they can drop planes, so you don't have to just nosedive into the freaking ground and people die. You know what I mean? There's so much air transportation. It's the same with, how come the pilots and that get parachutes, but all the passengers, all they get is some little oxygen mask. They don't get parachutes. They don't care about you. Parachutes on planes, that would be a novel idea, right? Obama, that would only happen in a free society. That's how you know you're not free, I think. Obama nominates defense contractor executive as Air Force Secretary. And the Air Force itself is pretty much like a private corporation. That's how it's run, too. They got nice little symbology, too, in their And PayPal tests mobile payments using your face for verification. And Bionic Eye will receive software updates to enable color vision, increased resolution. Thank you, everyone. God bless.